Hello and welcome to a very quick introduction to the Quiz app. Right, when you first log in, you will be presented with the login page, which looks like this. You just type in your University of York username and your password, standard university password, and press Login Intro to Engineering. That takes you to the index screen here, which will give you an indication of your best scores on all of the topics that you've completed so far. So far we've only released 3 of the topics. There are a total of 23 topics in the module, so plenty to keep everyone busy. The rest of them will be coming along as we cover them in the lectures. Now you'll see that I have already completed 1 quiz. I scored 50% at level 1. I'll come back to what that means later. I'll have a look, however, at the kinematics topic, because I think that's one that most people will be familiar with already for this demo. And for kinematics, I haven't tried anything yet. So I can enter the kinematics topic by either pressing the kinematics link in the table or clicking on the bar in the histogram up here. If I click on that, I'll get to the main puzzle screen, which looks like this. So quick tour of this screen. There's a welcome sign up there. There's then a whole set of links. Index takes you back to the screen where we just came from. Logout takes you, well, right back to the login page. Help takes you to a page full of hints about this particular topic. Now, there isn't much about kinematics there yet, but what there is a link to a Google document, which will contain hints and examples of the questions in this topic. You have edit rights to that document, so if there's a problem that you can't see how to do, then feel free to take a screenshot, paste it into that document, send me an email, and I will go back and add in the solution or some hints. Right. There's also report issue, which if your browser is set up, will take you to an email page and allow you to send me an email reporting a problem that you may have come across with the app. It's a fairly large bit of software and a lot of it is new this year, so there are likely to be a few bugs. Apologies about that in advance. There's then the start and submit buttons. You will probably never have to press the submit button. The start button allows you to start doing a quiz that will earn you marks. Now, you can do as many practice questions as you like by pressing the next practice question button, but when you're ready to actually have a go at a quiz, press the start button and the quiz will start. A quiz is a series of 5 questions. Right, oh yes, up here we have a list of the levels. Now, different levels give you different difficulties of question, but also allow you to earn higher marks for the harder questions at the higher levels. You'll see that levels 2, 3 and 4 are currently greyed out. That's because you have to get through level 1 in order to unlock level 2 and get access to the harder questions, which allow you to earn the higher marks. So let's first of all have a look at a practice question. It's a starter level question. It's pretty straightforward. What does the V represent in SUVAT? The answer is final velocity. I click A. And I get 50%. 50% because it's really not a very difficult question. And if you want to get more than 50%, you've got to start doing some harder questions at the higher levels. So you can do as many practice questions as you like. Ooh, that's quite a hard one for a starter level question, but it might be a useful one to go through. Astronaut on a planet with no atmosphere throws a rock vertically upwards. Takes 8.6 seconds for the brick to return to his hand. Right, so if it takes 8.6 seconds to go all the way up to the zenith and then turn around and come all the way back down again, then it must take 4.3 3 seconds to go from his hand to the top where its velocity is 0. So if we just consider the going up phase, then that would be 4.3 seconds. Now, going at a velocity of 8.5 meters per second, so we know the initial velocity, we know the final velocity, we know the time taken, we want to know the acceleration. So the relevant Suvat equation is v equals u plus at. You could at this stage get a piece of paper or a calculator, plug in some numbers and get the answer, but it's worth knowing about this little shaded green box at the bottom of the screen. This is what's known as a DoCalc box, and it's a built-in calculator. And it's quite an intelligent one. For example, if I just click to start typing somewhere, I can type 2 plus 3, press return, and it will tell me 5. But I can also type 2 plus q equals 5, and it will go and solve that equation and tell me that q equals 3, which is very useful of it. Once it knows that q equals 3, I could ask it what is 2 times q, and it would tell me 6. So, for example, we could use that feature in this equation here by defining the time as being 4.3 seconds. I'll call that tt. The final velocity, vv, is 0. The initial velocity, uu, is 8.5 meters per second. And we want to know the acceleration, so let's use vv equal to uu plus aa times tt, and it knows what the values of 3 of these 4 quantities are, so it can work out the other one, and it will tell me that the acceleration due to gravity is 1.977. Negative because acceleration is down. So the answer here is B. Now, you might wonder why I wrote tt rather than just t for the time. Well, the answer is that it understands SI multipliers. It knows that k, for example, is 1000, and that 4m means 4 milli, or 0.004. So it already knows what capital T is. It's tera. It thinks that 5t is 5 times 10 to the power of 12. So it doesn't like it if you then try and tell it that t is something else, like time. If I said t equals 34, it would give me this warning. SI multiplier t redefined. It's best to avoid that. And a very simple way to avoid that is to make sure that all of the variables that you use consist of 2 letters rather than 1. Okay, oh, by the way, when you're reporting an issue, I mentioned always include the question number. This is the question number here. In this case, 101.0.0.4811. It uniquely identifies this question. So if you have a problem with it, just let me know and I can track down what went wrong. Now, if you're ready to actually have a go at a quiz, that's a sequence of 5 questions that will earn you some marks, you press the start button. First thing to note, the level changed to level 1. You can't earn any marks at starter level. Lowest level you can get marks at is level 1. But level 1, fairly straightforward questions. The only disadvantage of working at level 1 is that you can only score 50%. So here we have question. Which of the equations relates the time to the initial velocity, the displacement, and the acceleration? I think it's C. Good. It now says 50% up here. That's my average mark so far, and I've got 1 out of 1 questions correct. Second question. What does the T represent? Very straightforward. Answer C. Looking good. Mean still. 50%, 2 out of 2 questions correct. Get third question. stone thrown vertically upwards with an initial velocity of 5.3 meters per second. What maximum height does it reach? Okay, the initial velocity is 5.3. The final velocity is 0. The maximum height, we don't know, but the acceleration due to gravity, that is 9.8 meters per second. That's given down here in the information. So we need something that relates U, V, A and S. And that is VV squared equal to UU squared. Now normally it's plus 2AS, but here I've defined the acceleration as being 9.8. I should really have defined it as being minus 9.8 because it's an acceleration downwards when the initial velocity, 5.3, was a velocity upwards. So let's redefine AA to be negative, and then I can use UU squared plus 2 times AA times SS, and it will work out. I can just drag this down here. The answer is 1.433 meters, which is option D. Right. Fourth question. Which of these equations relates T, U, V, and A? So the one missing is S. It's that one. It's B. T, U, V, and A. Great. 50%. 4 out of 4 questions correct. Get fifth and last question. Which of the following equations? Okay, so we know V, we know U, and we know A, and we want S. So we want the one that doesn't include time. That is D. Correct answer, D. Great. Now, I have finished a quiz of 5 questions. It says it's been successfully submitted, which means that I don't need to press the submit button. It's already been submitted. The result has been stored in the database. It's not a bad idea to just store that reference number, just in case. But we can go back on the index and see that now I have got a complete quiz run in kinematics. I scored 50% on level 1, and that's when I did the quiz. If I go back into kinematics now, you'll see that level 2 and level 3 are now not grayed out. I can do level 2 questions, I can do level 3 questions. Can't do level 4 questions, but I got full marks at level 1, which means that not only level 2, but level 3 is now unlocked and ready to go. And at level 3, the questions are worth 85% if you get them right first time. Of course, it's a bit harder, but I'll leave that to you. I think that's about it. You'd calculate this and you'd put the number in the answer box. Oh, just one other thing I should mention. If you do get the answer in the do-calc box here to be, say, 23, you don't have to write 23 in the answer box. You can just write QQ. And it will go and ask do-calc what QQ means, and do-calc will tell it, that value is equal to 23, and submit 23. It's not the right answer, so you'll get a big red cross in this particular case, but you can type variables in the answer box as well as the actual answer. Oh, and final thing, tip. Never write units in the answer box. It causes real difficulties. Always just write the actual quantity. You can use SI multipliers. I could write 3K in there and it would understand that that was 3, in this case 1,000 kilometers, but never write the units in the answer box. Right, I think that's about it for a quick introduction to the quiz app. Happy quizzing!